All right, 7 o'clock, let's get started. Roll call, all board members are present and accounted for. Do we do anything with that consent calendar?
Yes, you have to.
Has everybody taken a look at the consent calendar and motion to approve as is, or any discussion?
I move that we approve it.
Second.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jim Freckey,
Yes.
Dean Moberg,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jeff Clem.
Yes. Moving on to new business, hearing from the audience, limited 15 minutes, individual speakers limited 2 minutes for topics not on the agenda. Yes, ma'am.
I'm confused about something. You guys purchased a new truck. For the purpose of the guys on Station 2 to drive back and forth to classes and stuff over here?
To use as we deem necessary, yeah. It'll be used for a lot of different purposes.
Will it take the place of putting the miles on the fire
Yes.
truck?
Yes. In some cases, if they need to drive the big truck, they'll be driving the big truck, but if they need to just drive back and forth or a medical call when there's 5 or 6 inches of snow on the ground, then that's the truck that'll be going out.
Okay, and a year or so ago, it said, I asked a question, how come I always see the fire trucks at Dillon's? And you said that
Those are Leavenworth's. Every once in a while, you'll see one of ours sitting there, but mostly they're Leavenworth's trucks.
well, it was ours.
Okay, they're getting their lunch. They're
And
getting
I
it.
think the response was, well, I know the response was that you prefer the guys that are on duty to be on the truck if they have to run errands and stuff. That way, response time is less.
Yes.
It lessens it because if they had their own vehicle or another vehicle, they would drive someplace, pick up lunch or whatever, and then they would have to go back to the station and get the truck, and that would raise the response time.
Right.
Getting this new truck, isn't that kind of shooting ourselves in the foot? Because we're going to be driving the truck back and forth, we're still going to have to go back to the station and get the truck.
I'm not following you. I'm not following you.
You said you preferred your firemen to be,
Right.
that are on duty, to be on the truck if they're running errands and stuff.
Yeah.
We've just purchased this truck that's going to take the place of putting miles on the fire truck. Are we shooting ourselves in the foot by using the pickup truck to run errands and stuff? Because if they're out in the pickup truck, they're going to have to drive back to the station, and that's going to raise response time.
Well, they can either respond back to the station emergency because it will have emergency equipment on it, or they can respond directly to a scene because it will still have medical equipment on it.
The
And it'll have their-
the
it'll have their
replacement of the
unit.
vehicle was for the county, the old ambulance. As far as what they're usually in when they're making the trips back and forth. So that vehicle, which is non-repairable, was more what the truck was replacing. It was not replacing the time spent in a fire truck. Because what's going back and forth now is that old Albatross.
The old ambulance we used to have, and it died.
So that was the main reason we were looking to
So we're not
replace.
using the fire truck to run over here.
It depends
for
on the
classes.
situation, depends on the day, depends on what truck they're driving, depends on the situation. If it's a medical call, they're driving a small truck. If it's a fire standby or a gas call or whatever, they're driving the big truck. Each situation it's a fluid situation.
Say you have classes over here and they need to come over here, so say they're.
They'll drive the pickup truck in.
They're driving the pickup.
And what that does is it leaves the big truck at Station 2 for the 1 or 2 volunteers we have at Station 2. If we have a call, then they can go to that station, pick up that truck and go.
But we don't have volunteers 24/7.
No,
There's not always somebody there.
No.
Now there is.
Right.
Unless they're here taking.
Right.
Training or whatever.
right, or on a call.
So
Yeah.
they drive the pickup in here, they get a call, then they gotta drive back out to the station to pick up the truck and
No,
go.
no, if they're sitting in here, they'll take one of the trucks here.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. Yep, we're fluid, we're trying to meet all the situations we can.
I just didn't don't want to go backwards.
No, we're not going backwards.
Good question. Anything else?
No.
All right, good. Anybody else? Special reports. Chief?
Nothing to add.
We got something else going on, don't we, next? Good.
Yeah, we've got another Bud Key we're gonna try and get on the department here.
Why don't we
We're
jump-
pleased to announce this evening, we have another volunteer that has completed his requirements. Matt, sitting here in front of you. He is a younger brother, Josh? Older brother, I know bigger brother, of Josh Budke, who's, we hired this year earlier. Matt's been on with us a little over a year. We were gonna pin him last month, but he was on shift. He works for EMS. So, we got him here tonight. He has completed his, all of his training. He's ready to rock and roll, so we're ready to pin him. Come up.
Deal.
Here, here.
Josh,
Oh, okay. That's very cool.
go get the med bag. It's gonna be blood.
Very much like this one.
Just don't stab me.
Put it on right side up, Josh.
I knew that was gonna happen. I was waiting for it.
I didn't even notice, they told me about it. And with that, Josh, here's your big boy hat. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
It's Matt, right?
Yes.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Proud of you. Thank you. Come from a good name.
Congratulations.
Good family.
Good work, good show.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Matt's worked real hard to get this done. We've got a couple more, another one in February, I think.
Well, that's about the funnest stuff we do, so that's good stuff. Moving on to items for action. Neighborhood revitalization plan. Chief?
We've got Sarah and Stephanie from the city here tonight. We've also got the program that Tony will put up here in just a second. So we'll turn it over to these ladies.
You're up.
I'm Stephanie Lee, I'm the Community and Economic Development Director with the City of Lansing.
And I'm Sarah Bodensteiner, the city clerk.
So basically what we have before you is every 5 years we update our neighborhood revitalization plan. And so we're at that period of time where the county has asked us to renew it if we would like to continue the program. So we've reached out to our taxing entities, the county, the school district, and the fire district, just to see if you had any questions about it, if you had any concerns. This would be the time that we would make any changes to it if there were any issues that came up. So, anything to that?
Is this exactly the same that we've had before?
This
Really
is-
no modifications?
Yes, this is a new, well, not the same, this is a revised plan with just some little changes in wording for clarification. We've had some applicants come in that weren't totally sure exactly what they had to do, so we made some text amendments that made it pretty crystal clear as to what was needed. But other than that, it's the exact same plan, same percentages, same areas, really no changes.
Do we have any entities coming off the program this year?
We will have, and at the end of this year, we'll be losing 3 entities. In 2017 is our biggest bump, we'll actually be losing 8. All of the residential are 5 years. We have added a new residential this year, so once that's completed and taxed on, that'll be 5 years, and then we'll have all commercials 10 years. But between this year and next year, we'll be losing the majority of what we have in there. We have 27 properties current total.
27 properties that are receiving incentives to be here for them to put a business in Lansing, right? That's what,
They're receiving the tax rebate.
that's right.
They pay the full amount, and then the county administers the rebate back based on tax entities that are included.
I guess one clarification with that, if you weren't aware, is the base taxes on the property will stay the same. So if somebody buys a vacant property, they will continue to pay the taxes on the value of that vacant property. But as soon as they add, $500,000 building onto it, whatever that is assessed and appraised at, that's what the taxes will be rebated from. So that you always receive that base property value taxes, but the rebate is based off of the improvements to that property. So it is an incentive for someone to.
And what is the requirement, dollar-wise, to qualify?
For commercial, we have 3 different tiers. We have under 5,000, or under 500,000. We have 500,000 to, I think, 3 million.
3 million and 3 million and above.
3 million and above. And then for residential, the only ones eligible are renovations, additions to existing residential in certain areas of town. So we do not include any kind of new residential. So it's just certain areas of town if you're remodeling. And primarily those are the older areas of town that we'd like to see improved and maintained. So that's why we have those in the program.
What's going in where the car wash was?
Now, hopefully something great one day. Right now, we don't have any plans that we know of for that space, but hopefully we'll see something there eventually.
How about the dirt hill?
Yeah.
Curious. Will we move the dirt from one side to the other and
Right.
mix it up a little
Right,
bit?
exactly.
Anything brewing?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a few things that are, kind of in the works, but nothing that we can, are far enough along that we can really talk about at all. But hope to see something there one day. We're definitely working hard trying to get something there because that's a high priority for really everyone in town.
Is the preponderance mostly residential, is that?
For their rebate or for development in town?
Or whatever, I don't understand all of it.
26
Most of the
properties
money,
today.
does it go to residential use or business use or what?
Business.
Yeah, for this program primarily, it's primarily commercial. We've had a little bit of use on the residential side, not very much.
Not very much, maybe 1 or 2 properties since the inception of the program in 2002. The majority has been commercial.
The incentives mostly east of Highway 7? Right?
For residential?
Yeah, for residential.
Residential, yes, it's primarily Ward 1 and
Yeah.
Lansing. For the commercial, though, it's really the majority, the entirety of the Main Street corridor for
Yeah.
the most part, and then also going out Eisenhower as well. So really our commercial corridors is what's in that.
Okay. So they asked us is what for what we're considering?
They want you to approve the resolution for another 5 years,
And this year it amounts to about $17,000.
17,000. Basically, the way it works is we levy the tax, so when we levy our tax, we have to include that 17,000. We collect the tax and then take it back out of our budget to give it back to the city.
This is our 5th year in the program?
Oh, no.
2 times.
Yeah.
I think you guys.
Ever since we started, I
think it's been
believe,
about
yeah.
11 years. I think you
Yeah.
guys joined in about 2005, 2006, so it's been.
Yeah, you're a little over your 5 years, but, yeah.
Right, yeah, correct. We're a little bit past our
Yeah.
5 years.
Okay. So we'll have an item for action on the next meeting? So
Unless you want to do it this evening, it's up for an item for action this evening, so.
We have an item for action to vote on that for this evening? Then, yeah. We had talked, in the last meeting, you had talked about it in the last meeting,
We talked about it a little bit.
and then we talked about it in the one before, right?
Yeah, we've talked about it unofficially several times, yeah.
So we need a motion to approve the extension of the neighborhood revitalization plan,
It would be for the approval of the interlocal agreement.
approval of the interlocal agreement, and it's for an extension of how many years?
It's for 5 years.
For an additional 5 years, for a 5-year extension. Do we have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement for the next 5 years.
The revitalization plan. And we have a second.
Revitalization.
All right.
I second.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jim Frecky,
Yes.
Dean Moberg,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jeff Plant.
Yes.
You have an official copy, or?
I do have a copy. Should I have a second? In case everybody wanted an original. Okay.
Because I don't know if you had an official.
This is the,
That's the official.
yeah, it's the official one.
Mr. Jefferson.
You want Terry to sign too, please? You gonna set this copy, right?
Yes, yeah, once it's on there, so we'll get copies out.
Moving on for items for action on item B, resolution 2016-3, transfer unused funds to equipment reserve fund.
This is something we do every year, it's housekeeping. By state law, we can transfer unused funds to our equipment reserve or our fire protection funds. I originally sent out a resolution not to exceed $30,000, but I think we're gonna do a little better than that this year, so I changed it to $40,000. So it may be $30,000, but this gives me a little more room. And I won't do this until right at the end of the year, so we've got most of the bills paid and we know exactly where we're gonna be at. And so this allows us to take as much money as possible and put it away for a rainy day.
So this is done each year, so you're looking for a motion for Fire District 1, resolution number 2016-3, to transfer funds to equipment reserve not to exceed $40,000?
Yes.
I so move.
Second.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jim Frecky,
Yes.
Dean Moberg,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jeff Clarence.
Yes. Moving on to item C, board bylaws. I think that's agenda 4C. Looking to make the change from a treasury standpoint to eliminate the treasury bond by board resolution shall be voted on at the January meeting every year and filed with the county clerk. Is that the only change to that?
That's the only change.
And
We have
we're
to
just
have a-
looking to take that out. So
Yeah, we have to have a treasurer's bond and, why go through all the other hoorah?
Agreed.
So,
we're looking for a motion on agenda 4C for number 7 for the board bylaws to extract or take out the wording, the treasury bond by board resolution shall be voted on at the January meeting every year and filed with the county clerk.
Move.
Second.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jim Frecky,
Yes.
Dean Moberg,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jeff Clarence.
Yes. Item 4D, which is a purchase of a snow blade for the Kubota. Rick gave me some to-dos there. So the city has agreed to move our snow.
okay.
I have not had the conversation with the county, because I think we would need the county for out there.
I've already had that conversation. and-
They're willing to do that?
No, absolutely not. I met with them 2 years ago and, yeah, it
Why don't I
was
run
not
with
no,
that one and
but
see?
you can run right and see. They told me absolutely not.
And what was their reason?
They didn't have the time or the manpower.
Do we still have the sheriff that's out there?
No, they don't spend.
Does anybody spend
They
time
don't
out
spend
there?
as much time out there. They still
As
spend some
much?
time out there, but they don't near spend, because now they've got their annex down there where they wash their cars and stuff, so.
When they spend time out there, what do they do when they're spending
Just
time out there?
sitting, making out reports and stuff, doing their paperwork. They might use the bathroom, but they don't
In
spend
2 years,
near as
we've
much
had
time
snow
as they.
moved twice out there?
The last 2 years, yeah, twice.
Twice.
We've got it set up with Mance out there, but he doesn't remove the snow unless there's at least 4 inches. Now we've got guys out there that's, they're saying we need to get it removed more than that now that we're out there full-time. Because used to be, days would go by, would be out there, so we do need to look at getting snow removed a little more often than every 4 inches. Because it turns size.
So, yeah, we don't want to miss this year. If it's, I haven't had the conversation with the county. We've had it a few years ago.
Right.
The county commissioner said no, or who said no?
The county commissioner's on the advice of Spickelmeyer and the head of the county shop, which are now both gone.
Might be a good time to revisit that
Yep,
issue.
I mean, if you want to.
But, because we wouldn't meet till January, the next time the next time we'd meet, so I don't want to miss a window to purchase a blade.
But it's going to snow between now and next
It
week.
will,
Yeah.
yeah. Are you recommending the $2,000 blade or the $7,000 blade?
The $2,521.
That meets your expectations?
Yes. And I've talked to all the guys, and they're willing to
All the
push
snow gets moved by the guys when they need to move it here and
And that
there.
way, we can do it when we're on our schedule rather than, and then we don't have to hear the complaining, because I can guarantee you, there's going to be complaints from others about why are they pushing our snow when they can't get to the streets.
I don't care about that.
Well,
Why don't we look?
I
to have-
understand.
That's fine. Why don't we look to have so the resolution that you're looking for is Smitty's Lawn and Garden for 2521?
Right.
To go, do we have a motion to purchase the Kubota blade from Smitty's Lawn and Garden 2521?
I have a couple questions before we start.
I don't think we can have the conversation till after we
Okay, go ahead.
have the motion, right? Then we go to exploratory?
you're right.
Is that how that works?
Make the motion.
Yeah.
I move, so move.
Okay.
Second.
So open up for discussion.
Okay, I'm just kind of curious, when we bought that Kubota, why didn't we get a blade then? Wouldn't it have been cheaper in the long run?
No, it'd been the same price, and we bought it at the end of last year, so we were trying to get under budget for a certain cost last year, so, and we bought it with the understanding, hey, we may do this eventually, but last year, we were getting our snow pushed at no cost. Well, that's not happening now, so,
Now,
But it's set
we're
up.
definite that the
yeah. they're-
facility will not do
They don't
any
even,
stuff.
I was talking to the outside lieutenant the other night, we had a car wreck, and she is now the night captain. They don't even have an outside lieutenant anymore, so she says they don't know what they're gonna do for snow. They know they're gonna push it somehow, but they don't know how.
Were you referring to the prison?
Yes.
Well, we already have, this place could be pushed. So the city has agreed to push, here, I had a conversation with Tim.
Okay.
So
Well,
the
this will be,
issue
yeah, we
is,
can use this definitely at Station 2, and if that falls through, then we can use it at Station 1.
yeah, it's just do we want to forego the expense of $2,000?
But it's gonna eventually pay for it. I mean,
I
it's-
agree with you. I'm not disagreeing.
And the Kubota with the snow plow mount, it'll fit on the trailer to haul it out to.
well, if we're just gonna use it at Station 2, we'll just keep it out there.
Oh, we're just gonna use it.
It's out there now. So we'll just put the blade on it, take the water tank off, and put some sandbags in it.
The challenge you may have here is when they push might be different than when you want to push.
Right.
So you'll have to kind of have that conversation and see what.
We'll just play it
what
by
works.
ear, and
That's
if it's
fine.
not being done, then we'll,
I can't imagine if they're pushing, you're going to have an issue with our trucks getting out, but that's your business to
Yeah.
figure that out. All right.
But theoretically, then, this would only predominantly, if we get the city to do this, it would only be done out there. And that's really kind of where we wanted the Kubota to stay anyway, wasn't it?
yeah, that's where it's at now, so. But if it
What
falls
was
through.
each pushed by, what's his name? out
So
there?
who's gonna push
What?
How much was each pushed on snow?
this.
Definitely.
We just got the bid for here, like I say, for Mance out there, it was $50 a time, but then it's on his schedule, not ours. That's why it was so much to push it here, because we were gonna be first on the list. Now, if we wanna be first on the list out there, the price goes up. But he might get out there 3 days after the snow. It's just when he can get
Yeah,
to
we
it.
gotta have something
But we
more
need to get to it
reliable.
quicker now that we're
How
manned
long has
out
he been
there.
pushing out there for us?
Ever since we built the building.
Have we ever had an issue?
No, but like I
Getting
say again, oh yeah, we've had to call him several times. Where are you at? Why? Well, I'll get to it here tomorrow. Okay, we had 8 inches of snow, we need it done before tomorrow.
Because if we push 3 times,
That's,
you got like 10 years worth of
yeah. Yeah, but if we
paying for
push 3
maintenance to
times,
justify
yeah.
the purchase of $2,000
Yeah,
blade.
and that's what I'm saying, but he gets to it when he can get to it. If we get a 12-inch
Are you
snow.
saying there's a risk that's created by that statement?
If we get a big heavy-duty snow, he's gonna come out in 3 or 4 days when he can get to it. It's like he's done before.
And
It's
there's no
not
one
coming
else
out.
that would push?
Well, we can get somebody, but the higher on the list we go, the more expensive. It ain't gonna be for $50.
That's right.
Yep, that's right.
The higher on the list we get on
You
somebody.
pay
the
for
more
what
we
you
pay.
get.
I think you're right, it's gonna be paid for in 2, maybe 3 years.
Oh, no, it depends on the snow. I mean,
Yeah.
we're due. I mean, the last 2 winters, we didn't have hardly any snow, so we're due. I mean, just like 3 years ago, they pushed down here, 3 or 4 times a week. So,
But still, we're only looking at $50 for pushing the snow out there,
when he can get to it,
when he can get to it.
when he can get to it.
And typically you said you've had to call him a couple times to ask when he's coming?
Because it's never within 2 days. It's always at least 3 days in.
And when does he constitute the depth? Does it have to be 3
We
inches?
told him
before-
4 inches,
4 inches.
but it's gotta be different because we're out there every day, so guys can't get up and down the driveway.
Well, there's one thing about having your own machine.
Yeah,
If they forecast 12 inches of snow, you can get out there after 2 or 3 inches, clean it off, wait for 2 or 3
Keep
more
going.
inches. You
Yeah.
don't wait for 12.
and that's what I've told the
inches.
guys, and they're willing to do that, so.
Cause I've had that, I got a quarter-mile driveway and I have to pull snow, not push it. So I get out there and, cause I can't pull it once it gets about 5 inches.
Right.
That happened to me one winter. I got out there with my tractor, couldn't do nothing. So I called the guy with a big old 3/4 ton pickup and he pushed it out just like that.
It cost you about how much? 100?
Well, at that time, it cost me about $40 a quarter mile. But that was a friend of my brother-in-law, so it gave me a deal on it.
Today, I think it's like 100 and a quarter, 200 bucks.
Yeah, I think my neighbor paid over $100.
Yeah, push your driveway one time,
Yeah.
100 and a quarter.
Let's vote on the purchase of the blade. We've had a motion and a second.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jim Fricke,
No.
Dean Mulberg,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jeff Clamp.
No. We don't need a supermajority for that, do we? I think it's just a purchase of,
That's under the price.
some of the price.
Yeah, it's a level where you can approve. I mean,
Yeah, so, I'm just saying.
yeah,
so
we can,
two-
yeah. I guess we can approve, yeah.
Yeah, it's approved.
Okay.
Moving on to items for action E, Conrad fire bid for turnout gear.
Okay, we got, we had a bid opening last Monday. We sent out 5 bids for turnout gear. We got 1 on time. We did get 1 that came in after the bid closing. That was sent back unopened. So I gave you guys the synopsis of the bid that we got, plus what we're paying this year, so we got some kind of a standard to go by. So the 2016 bids there, and then the cost from 2015, and then the original 2012 bid. And Conrad had the bid in 2012, and you can kind of see it's gone up a little, but it hasn't gone up, it's gone up proportionally. It's not been out of sight.
It's not.
1-2% a year.
And
We
Rick-
buy how many sets?
Some years we buy 6, some years we buy 5. Depends. We're buying a whole lot better gear now than we used to. We used to buy it every 3 years. Now we're up to 6 years. So we're spending a little more money, getting a little better gear, but it's lasting twice as long. So
And then
we're,
of the equipment that we're buying, how many of each are we doing? 'Cause I see the turnout cost, turnout pants, but I don't see how many.
well, like I said, that's set up on what we need each year. So if we need, we get some new guys in this year, then we'll gear them up. If we don't have any new guys, we won't. If we get somebody, so it's usually about 4 or 5 sets a year. Some years maybe 6, some years maybe 3.
This was a bid for just pricing.
Yes, for the next 5 years.
That's correct.
And this price is good for the 2017 and 2018, because we buy it in January, because it takes like 4 months to get here unless we pay an extra $250. So the price is good for 13 months, so this price will be frozen for this year, or 17s and 18s.
And you're projecting 45 sets in January.
Yeah,
You made a good point. You built the RFP, that was quite clear on the return. If they didn't get it in time, whether it was
Right.
postmarked, no matter what the postmark date
Right.
was, the rule says we send it back.
right.
That's right. So it just came in late, a few days late.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So,
very good. So we are looking for a motion to approve the Conrad bid, and it is in the amount,
well,
don't think we have a total amount.
No, we don't have a total amount, is what it is. To answer your question, this year we budgeted $9,000, next year we're budgeting $11,000. So we'll buy the turnout gear to match in that $11,000.
I stated that it's for the pricing for coat, pants, suspenders, helmets, and boots on the opening of the bid that we did with Conrad.
Right.
So we're looking to approve those prices the prices for the coat was $1,276.14. Is that the right pricing we're talking about?
Right.
Pants of $906.41, suspenders $65, helmets of $238, and boots of $269.
Correct.
So those are the prices we're approving, quantity to be determined each year based on need.
Right.
So do we have a motion?
I move that we accept as you have recited.
I second.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jim Freaky,
Yes.
Dean Moberg,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jeff Clapp.
Yes. Moving on, items for discussion. Unlisted. Board member concerns. Dean?
I'll go ahead and talk about this now. You've had we have proceeded with our activity with the school and got into this a little heavier than I thought it would be, but it's a good deal. There are career pathways programs that are out there. Right now, the state does not have a fire one. Going through the school and working with the counselors, it's not a matter of just picking out 4 or 5 kids that look like they'd be good and send them down. As you can see, the introductory level, they have to work their way into being allowed to come here. They also receive high school credit, and we can look into the college credit also. But this program is already in place, and if you just peruse through it, it's pretty in-depth. And by the time they finish fire science, they have firefighter 1 outside the department here. So it's pretty inclusive. It starts at the sophomore or junior level. They take classes. They have to show a commitment to go to these classes, earn the credits, and then they move on to the next level. By the time they get to the application level, that's where we're going to come into it. We've got 3 volunteers here, firemen that will help with the program at the station level. But this is after we coordinate with the school, and we are doing that right now. And it's a pretty in-depth program. If we get a kid through this, they will be a fireman or firewoman and ready to go. So, I mean, it's quite a program. But I want to show you, this is introductory. I want you guys to look at it. There's like 236 requirements just to get through the first phase, which is only half a credit.
Yeah.
Did they say how many were involved in it today? Or is this not even in Lansing?
No, it's not.
So is Lansing open to bringing this in?
Yes, they're very excited about it, as a matter of fact.
Oh, fantastic.
Steve Dykes, I met with him and the 2 vice principals and the 2 counselors, and they're all very excited to get something like this started. They just, with the new school and other programs, haven't had the push, and now they've got an avenue with us. And so as you can see, this is a generic program, but this is specific now for firefighter. So I just wanted to get this out to you so you can look it over.
What is the process for them starting it up? Because if we come in at the application level, which is firefighter 2, or fire science 2 is where we would come in, is that right?
Yep.
For us to get to that point, they have to start this in Lansing to start doing something.
Correct.
So
Correct.
did they have a timeline or anything, or is it on us to go back and push on them to get that going?
No, actually, they're trying to get everything in place now for next semester.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, great. Yeah. Well, that's big.
Starting in January?
Yeah, it looks like a lot of these criteria are basic firefighter 1 skills.
They are,
They're just
yes.
basic skills that we teach here, so they'll be able to.
Have you had a chance to go through this yet?
No, I just saw it here. When
You'll see that?
Yeah, I just looked through it here. And
Maybe next month, give us your opinion on what you're seeing.
Yeah, and what I've got, I've talked to some of our younger guys, Brendan and Josh, and Kristen Cannon have all three volunteered to take over this program, be the mentors on it. So we'll get them going on it. And
Okay.
But the nice thing is, these won't be random kids, they'll be kids that really have a desire. And have gone through a lot of prerequisites, so to just punt it to come down here and skip school, that's not what they're in it for. They want to become firefighters.
So, what high schools do we know that have this in right now that's working? Dean, do you know?
There's none in the area. But there's, in the country, that's why this is set up the way it is. Nationwide, there are several.
I was thinking that Olathe Northwest, the newer school, is it Olathe North or is it Olathe?
Northwest.
Olathe Northwest has this.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I don't know if it's to this detail, but it's identified as a sophomore in high school. For EMT, like Joe Gates and the crew, are firemen. It's set up for both. And so by the time you graduate high school, you are EMT or you are first stage, into the fireman role.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
So bottom line question is, if somebody completed all this as such, it sounds like what you're saying is he could be hired immediately if the requirement exists, or if he...
Well, the only thing that's gonna hold them back is their age.
Huh?
The only thing that'll hold them back is their age.
No, but I'm saying, if all the requirements met, he could be hired full-time fireman.
Well, the goal, as we talked about for
I mean,
years
if you
here,
need it.
has been volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
know
these
it's
kids,
volunteer, but...
they're going to be down here at 16 and 17 years old. And like you say, Jim, when they turn 18, they're riding the truck.
Yeah, but the big thing here is that you see the credit they're getting?
Yeah.
And they get college credit.
Yeah.
So then they could go on to KCK, or they could go on to Johnson County
Yep.
and complete, a 2-year college degree in something like this, because they've got all these credit and all these hours, so now they're rolling in with,
Yep.
like, you hear students with A&P classes, 12, 15 hours of college classes when they graduate.
And getting formal credits from high school,
Yeah.
it's a high school program.
Right.
So liability issues, almost gone.
Yeah.
It's, we are an approved program. So there's progress being made.
We will go over this and look at
There's a
it.
lot of material here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
Well, like I say, a lot of these, I was just thumbing through it here, and a lot of this is
is a
basic
quarter-inch
firemanship.
thick.
That's
So
right.
It's, there's criteria, that we have to do, the firemen have to do, and it's right there out of the, basic out of firefighter one skills book.
Well, Dean, thanks for continuing to push that. That's
yeah,
good.
that's great news.
Mr. Westmoreland?
Yeah, as I usually do, since we, the budget cuts off November, but we've actually spent almost a half a month in December, so I based a straight line on 11 and a half months. And the bottom line is, we have an apparent, under straight line of 89,994, which is just a little over a month's worth of our budget. So that, this is estimates, but like you say, when we get to the end of the year,
It'll be,
you're gonna
Pretty
be
close
looking
to
at
zero.
quite a bit to put on the
yep,
program,
Yep.
or transfer.
yep.
Jeff? Nothing. Marcus?
Nothing.
Last comment from me, Matt, congratulations. It's a big deal, so we appreciate you coming down and going through the process.
You're buying the beer.
That's it. No, yeah. Okay. I didn't know if we're out of age. Okay.
He does look pretty young, doesn't he?
So Beck is the majority name in the fire department.
Sure is. It's a good man. Deer hunting, too.
That's it. Move to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second?
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jim Freaky,
Yes.
Dean Mober,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jeff Clapp.
Yes.